We need accountability because Museveni has been receiving money from the UK every year, 1 billion. Out of that 1 billion, 6 million is meant to be going for LGBT community in Uganda. But there is no accountability of that money. We need to know who has eaten that money, who signed for that money from Bank of Uganda, and who is leading that team in Uganda on that case. We need accountability, where they use that money, where that money has gone to. If it's in State House, we need to know who in State House has been in charge of this money. If it's the State House, we need the name and the official who has been handling the £6 million for the LGBT community. Because as long as we know the LGBT community, they are suffering in Uganda. They don't have what I'll call their usual stuff they use. They don't have those facilities. But that money is being paid to Uganda every year. 6 million. We don't know where that money is going. We are calling on the UK government to stop the funding of the brutal regime in Uganda. We are calling on the UK government to stop the training of militias from Uganda. Because by training these so-called militias from Uganda, you are conniving, you are supporting, and you are committing the rape, the murder, the kidnapping, and the sodomization of Ugandans. Because of your taxpayers' money and my taxpayers' money being sent to Uganda, a £1 billion every year, with no accountability, this money is going to the drain. We want the UK government to stop completely the funding of this brutal dictator. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. We don't want no more taxpayers' money to be sent to Uganda with no accountability. Museveni is the richest brutal dictator in Africa at a price of 13.5 billion pounds rich. While Ugandans in Uganda, they cannot afford a £1 paracetamol. While Ugandans in Uganda, children can't go to school. We don't have no working hospitals. But for the last 40 years, Britain has pumped 40 billion to Uganda. The only thing we can think of in Uganda, he has built prisons. He has built death torture chambers where men are being sodomized, where women are being raped, where men and women are being murdered. That is Uganda of Museveni. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere.
What you see here are the Ugandan community living abroad, and we belong to National Unity Platform. We are Ugandans living abroad, and we love Uganda just like anybody loves this country. It's our birthright. We have had a dictator in Uganda for 40 years, and he has been selected, not my word, he has been selected 7 times. So he's ruled Uganda 40 years. It's not an election in Uganda.
It's selection.
A selection.
Yes.
Not my words. The UK has changed 13 prime ministers. We still have one leader, one ruler. That is the junta in Uganda. He's won selection in 7 times. He's looking for another 7th term. That is the junta in Uganda. People power.
Our power.
Our power.
People power.
Our power.
People power.
Kunga Uganda.
Kunga.
Kunga Uganda.
Kunga.
Now, to put you in a good aspect of things, Uganda in the 40 years has had no new hospitals. It has something similar to a health unit, and he has built 2, which he thinks is contributed. But that's after US have schools. The roads have potholes. I prefer to call them death traps. You could bury somebody in the potholes in Uganda. Uganda has just done a census at a cost of nearly $200 million. That is too exaggerated. Corruption is the password in Uganda. The junta's password is corruption. It's had scandal after scandal of money. That money is gives back here. That money that comes like aid, grant, loans, doesn't benefit the Ugandans. It benefits these people you see behind me, seated in the embassy here. We call it the crime scene. Our best, your best intervention is stop funding Uganda. We can take on the junta. You stop the money, stop training his army, stop giving them the guns that kill us, stop giving them the boots they use to kill us. In the last 5 years,
yes, man,
he's killed more people than anybody. So that there is a Bujingo here. Bujingo has come. So what happened? That's why we say Uganda's a lot of fake like that one. They come as preachers. We have fake Bishop Sentamu in the parliament here. You think he's a honorable. He's a dishonorable guy. He lies in bed with the junta. Sentamu, the bishop, the honorable, the sir, the Lord Sentamu, is one of the highest, one of the best swindlers. He's a Ugandan, and he sits in the House of Lords. He's behind the swindling of money. Sentamu, like the man who has just passed here, he disguises as if he's a religious person. He does similar things like the gentleman who has passed here. In the Lord we trust, but in the wallet we trust.
No.
That's the Lord Satan.
Yeah.
He's stolen a lot of money.
Yeah.
That puppet has stolen a lot of money. The
Yeah.
syndicate of the two have connived, stolen a lot of money. And it's them, the two, who have channeled money through the back track here. The embassy you see here is responsible for ruining the Uganda economy. They swindle money. The lady, the cameroness, the dishonorable woman in the embassy here, she's behind a lot of racketeering. Everything goes through her. They conduct that. The money is conduited through them. And it comes back here. So, Britain, stop funding Uganda. That money could be best used here. It could improve the roads, it could improve the hospitals. We don't need that money in Uganda. And that money goes to no good use. Because it comes back here and buys palaces. They own houses here.
Here the code. Obudde bunyogoga wano. Wano wanyogoga wali we walungi wali. Yes, yes. Omuzimu gwa Museveni ati gufubutuka eno. Omuzimu gwa Museveni gufubutukira awo.
Stop funding Bishop Sentamu the fake, the Lord. Stop funding Lord Puppet, the Asian, Indian.
How is work? Ekifaka sigamba ki? Onyuse. Ati Friday. Kimanyi era okola. Naye okolera waka. Talk completely. Okay. Wetuli bano. Wakayingirawo. Abantu bakaaba obudde obunyogovu wano. Twambadde gloves olwaleero. Ayaya. Wabisi wano. Era olaba buli muntu bw'ati. Kati mbawadde kakaadi kubanga baagambye pawundi basatu abantu bagule ekyayi. Kati mbawadde kaadi yange. Anti Hudu ankubidde essimu. Sijja kujja ne ŋŋamba kunzooke. Ojja kujjuza kamalemu owange olyoka ojjuzeemu. Andeetayo kembeera nsiipingako. Akazinda tukakukwasa nti olumala.
Don't pay them. Don't give them the money.
No.
Yeah. We are sick and tired. It's
Yeah.
the funds that keep them in power. You stop the We can't take them on.
Yes.
They are depending on your money. And when your money comes to Uganda as loans, as grants, he calls you development partners. When you don't give money, he blackmails you as colonialists, as imperialists. Can't you read through this? This is a man who doesn't care about you. All he cares about you
His
is
family.
It's your wallet.
Yes.
Don't the wallet merchant.
Yes.
Is the merchant.
Yes.
Traders, they're lords. They're
Yes.
lord of trade. They just steal. Lord Sentamu, the fake bishop.
Yes.
You might think he's British. He's Ugandan.
Yeah.
And he's behind most of the schemes that skim money from back Uganda to here. Lord Puppet and the others. The junta in Uganda is 13 billion rich, and they're still giving him the grants, the aid, the donations. Stop this coming. You can't have one leader in 40 years. The people you see here have never seen any other leader except one man who has ruled Uganda for 40 years with an iron hand. We don't want the taxpayers' money from Uganda. It would better serve the people in UK. Uganda is well resourced. Then you give this money, it just goes to the junta, who is the ruler of Uganda. And that money never trickles down to the very disadvantaged, the very poor, the very people in need. It just enriches them. Uganda has a parliament of 557 members of parliaments. A very poor country like that. We could do with 65, and that's what we had. How can we have 557 who are paid over 200 million? All the MPs get medical benefits. Money is set aside for them to be treated abroad. Will the MPs ever want to build a hospital? No. Because at every corner twist, all the MPs are entitled to come to the British hospitals. Everywhere in Uganda, the dictator and his family come for medical asylum, medical tourism.
Okay.
His children are on addition, they are so they don't care about Uganda. So why do you care to give Another point is that Uganda, the biggest open prison after North Korea. People don't say anything on Twitter, they don't oppose it. You oppose the junta in Uganda, you are in big trouble. You will meet instant death, you will disappear forever, or you'll be in prison forever. And that's the Uganda. And you keep funding him because the money you've given him has built 6 new prisons, or furnished with 6 new prisons. Yet still the prisons are overcrowded. He doesn't care. He's never built hospitals. Even simple things like gloves are not in hospital. And you still fund this dictator. You still give him money. You still talk to him. You should stop the funding. Now he's preparing for the next election. With you people will come on BBC as elections. But that's a selection. But this time, stand one for 7. You've extended the age limit, term limit. You are not extending the death limit. It is time the death limit is closing in. I saw you last week in Tanzania. I was happy. I'm sure death is coming. No more extension.
No.
Yeah. Thank you for listening.
People power. Our power. NUP. Everywhere. I need to take this opportunity to thank all those beautiful, gorgeous couples on your Valentine's Day. But we as Ugandans, we on the front line here, fighting for our rights, fighting for our freedom. We are talking about simple things, human rights. In Uganda, it's history to talk about human rights in Uganda. To stand as we are standing in this beautiful weather in Uganda is a crime. As we are standing here today, we have a simple word from the UK government. Stop sending our money to Uganda. Stop sending our taxpayers' money to Uganda with no accountability. You're sending our money. That money, the £1 billion you are sending to Uganda, is supposed to help our policemen and to get our homeless people from the streets of London than sending the money to Uganda. You are conniving with the brutal dictator. Sending our taxpayers' money to Uganda. You are involved in the raping of Ugandans. You are involved in the kidnapping of Ugandans. You are involved in the murdering of Ugandans. In Uganda, the money you send with no accountability is being recycled in building prisons and death torture chambers where men and women are being raped, where men and women are being murdered, where children are being sodomized. This is the Uganda of today, under the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. You're talking about the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda, who has been in power for over 40 years. You cannot call that democracy. In the UK, we've changed 13 prime ministers. In America, 11 presidents. In Uganda, we still live under the same brutal dictator. People power. Our power. That's why we are here today, in this beautiful weather, to represent 47 million suffering Ugandans. That change is overdue in Uganda. We need democracy in Uganda. We need a government which will respect human rights in Uganda. But we cannot have this under this brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Museveni of Uganda, he has killed over 2 million Ugandans. The same brutal dictator of Uganda, he has killed over 3 million Sudanese. The same brutal dictator of Uganda, he has killed 1.5 Rwandese. Right now, Museveni is in DRC Congo. M23 is Museveni. Kagame and Museveni equals to M23. Right now, Museveni is arming the rebel in DRC Congo with the support of the UK. Why do I say that? The UK is sending £1 billion every year to the brutal dictator of Uganda. Now the brutal dictator is recycling that money into buying arms and invading Congo as we speak. DRC Congo is on fire because of the help of the UK. That's why we are calling on the UK to stop financing the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. He's in DRC Congo because of its mineral resources. We see gold in the UK and around the world. In Europe, there is no country in Europe where they have gold and diamond. These minerals are coming from DRC Congo. And it's Museveni, the businessman, who is robbing all these minerals and selling them to Europe and the UK. That's why we are here, to highlight that by funding Museveni, you are funding our rape, you are funding our murder, you are funding our kidnapping, you are funding our rape in Uganda. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere. Imagine 42 billion which has been sent to Uganda in the last 42 years. But we don't have a working hospital. We don't have no schools in Uganda. Ugandans cannot afford a £1 paracetamol. Ugandans, as we stand here, are being tortured to death. Men are being sodomized. Women are being raped as we are here, as we talk. This is the Uganda of today, under the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. That's why we are calling on the world to come out and condemn the brutal dictator Museveni of Uganda. Enough is enough. Museveni must go. The UK should stop funding Museveni. Your taxpayers' money is involved in the torturing of Ugandans. Is involved in the torturing of Ugandans in Uganda. That money should go to the good causes here. Let that money build houses here. Let that money go to the policemen here. Let that money go to construct good roads here. Because for the last 42 years, 42 billion in Uganda has nothing on the ground. You can't see nothing in Uganda. Uganda is poor like before under this brutal regime. People power. Our power.
People power. Amanyi g'abantu ekyo kye gakola. Museveni waali gamubuguma akimanyi bulungi nnyo nti ebbanga lyafutubalidde ku bannayuganda okwekalakasa okujja kugenda mu maaso mu mawanga ag'enjawulo kutaddewo impact nnene ku bbanga lye ly'emyaka 5 ge yali aplaningidde okufugira mu Uganda. Ekimala kimala Bungereza ekaaye, Bungereza ekutte omuliro, bannayuganda balemeddeko nti mmwe musinga okufandinga Museveni okukiwa omusaayi mu bannayuganda. Singa mwali temumuwa ssente teyandifunye busobozi bugula mundu n'amasasi bitta bannayuganda. Ekifo ky'okugula eddagala mu malwaliro n'ebyenjigiriza bikulaakulane mu ggwanga Uganda tusinga kuba na mmundu, tusinga na kuba na balakisi z'amagye, tusinga kuba na bannamagye bayitirivu. Ate nga bano nabo tebasasulwa kubanga ssente eziriwo bazikozesa kugula mamundu. Ekimala kimala tukooye okufandinga Museveni okulemeza abaana baffe mu makomera nga balya na bubi basula bubi nga naye balina famire ze baaleka ebweru.